not a good hold because I believe the replica market is so prevalent on
I
them.
was a part of that replica market.
For real? You were flipping reps?
Yeah.
Dude,
it was so easy. It was the ones.
Don't admit that.
I don't care. It was a money jig.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Travis ones are hard to find.
Were you doing it on StockX?
Yeah, it's not my fault.
And I know from personal experience, people who've gotten fakes from StockX, and StockX's response in the past has been to sell it back on the platform.
Again, to me, this was a huge systematic error. A human error, like one shoe being fake, alright, that's fine. An authenticator has to do so many shoes, and they made a mistake. But for more than 50%? Last year, we took a look at the Nike StockX lawsuit, particularly the aspect that involved many fake sneakers getting through their authentication systems. Well, about 2 weeks ago, this situation got a frightening update in regards to the details of the situation when a document submitted by Nike's lawyers was published. According to this letter from Nike's legal team, a sneaker collector and reseller purchased 38 pairs of sneakers from StockX between March and July 2022, only to subsequently discover that they were counterfeit. Nike contacted the reseller and requested to inspect the sneakers from StockX, ultimately confirming that they were indeed fake. And now, we actually got an interview with the individual himself, Roy Kim, courtesy of Complex. And I think the most important statements throughout the entire interview is right here. So, it was 38 out of 62. I mean, more than 50% of these turned out to be fake, according to these apps. It's an insane ratio, and that's the thing that gets me, right? Whenever StockX talks about it's a very low percentage, I mean, yeah, but no one's faking Martin Rose Air Monarchs, you know? You see, that right there is an excellent point Kim makes, because he's essentially illustrating how poor StockX's authentication process actually has to be for this to be the case. You see, the whole reason the percentage is low overall is because the overwhelming majority of sneakers don't have good replicas on the market, and most don't even have sufficient demand for replicas to be produced at all. It's not that it was tough to pass fakes through StockX's authentication. Actually, over 50% of the sneakers Kim purchased were fake. It's just that no one is really trying to pass fakes through for the overwhelming majority of sneakers. How did this whole thing start? In a nutshell, Roy Kim watched a Keith Adam video on the Jordan 1 Mocha and realized they were undervalued at the time and decided to bulk order tons from StockX for investment purposes. Reasonable enough. He claims to have ordered 62 of these several very popular Jordan 1 models, or problematic stock keeping units as he likes to call them. He explains, we're talking about the SKUs that matter, that have very, very, very accurate reps, and failure rates at that point in time was really high. I mean, 50% plus of those SKUs failing in that time period, it really wasn't anything human error related. To me, that's a systematic issue. I couldn't believe it. I first ran it through, I think it was the Legit Check app first, maybe Check. I ran it through the first and they're like, these are failing. I was like, alright, I'm going to check the other apps, and they failed too. Upon this realization, he tried contacting StockX, and they essentially just ignored him initially, which is precisely what has most likely occurred to many other people in similar hypothetical situations. So, what did he do? He did what any other intelligent customer would do: make a viral post and force the company to reply so they could initiate damage control. And luckily for Kim, he got his full refund and a $500 gift card. So, why is Kim involved in the Nike lawsuit? He got what he wanted, right? Well, actually, he believes it's important that StockX finally faces accountability for promising 100% authentic products and then ignoring customers just like him who have valid concerns, and I certainly commend Kim for this. He also states, and I know from personal experience, people who've gotten fakes from StockX, and StockX's response in the past has been to sell it back on the platform. That's actually insane. If this is true, that would hypothetically imply that StockX is advocating for... Regardless, Kim does say he still likes StockX, but he's just staying away from the more problematic SKUs. You got UNC ones, you got Hyper Royal ones, Mocha ones, white-on-white Air Force ones are problematic, as he explains. And so, I think it's worth noting that if you are considering purchasing sneakers for resale online, understand that these very popular SKUs with extremely high demand and also high stock are going to have the highest risk because there's the highest incentive to create fakes of these, and thus there's a lot of really, really good near one-to-one fakes out there circulating. And this is despite them having level 3 authentication for these items. Kim acknowledges it, and he still stays away from these problematic SKUs. However, Kim also acknowledges this is not a problem isolated to StockX. Rather, any of these mass authentication systems have similar issues. He explains one experience with GOAT, where he got such a bad pair of Kith Air Force Ones that they didn't even have a Kith branding on them. And so, Kim believes that this is not due to some random human errors. Rather, this was a huge systematic error. A human error, like one shoe being fake, alright, that's fine. An authenticator has to do so many shoes, they make a mistake, but for more than 50%? So, remember, the overall probability of getting a fake sneaker in general might be low, but that might not be to StockX's credit or any of these other platforms. It could simply be that there aren't many good fakes being sent of all those other non-heavily faked models. When it comes to these problematic SKUs though, a 50% ratio for what Kim experienced is absolutely and utterly insane. I think I'll end the video with a quote from Charlie Munger, and you can infer from it what you desire. Show me the incentive, and I'll show you the result. Anyway, that'll conclude it for today. You can feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or maybe if you learned a thing or two. Subscribe to stay 100% updated on all hype sneaker news. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description if you want to join eDeals for completely free with the link in the description. If you need proxies, feel free to check out Kip Proxies for residential, fast, reliable proxies. Furthermore, feel free to follow Endurance on Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways, and the same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up with the progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow Keith Adam 10 and Parcels for You. This way you guys stay updated on any urgent info. With that though, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day.